Ah, the dreaded career gap. For so many of us, that blank space on the resume is probably the most stressful part of a job search. But what if? What if we could totally reframe it? In this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to turn that gap from a point of anxiety into, honestly, your most powerful story of growth.
Have you ever just stared at your resume at that gap and just thought, how am I ever going to explain this?
Yeah, if you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, today we're going to solve that problem for good. Okay, so here's our game plan. First up, we're going to get inside the employer's head. Then we'll talk about how to own your story, frame that gap perfectly, and absolutely nail the conversation. And we'll wrap it all up with a concrete action plan you can start using right away.
All right, first things first. Why do employers even care about career gaps in the first place? I mean, what's the big deal? Well, if we want to tell our story effectively, we have to start by understanding the questions and, the potential red flags that are popping into a hiring manager's head the second they see one.
Okay, so when a recruiter sees a gap, their brain immediately jumps to a few key questions. They're thinking, are you reliable? Are you going to stick around? Then, are your skills still sharp or are they outdated? And of course, the big one, is there some hidden drama here that you're not telling me about? Our whole mission really is to get ahead of these questions and answer them before they even have to ask.
So now that we know what they're worried about, we can make the most important change of all, our mindset. Look, this is not about hiding something or feeling ashamed of your time off. Not at all. It's about taking control of the narrative. It's about owning your story.
I really want this to sink in. You are not covering up a gap. You're owning it, and you are directing the narrative. I love that idea. Think of yourself as the director of your own movie, your career story. You get to decide how to frame every single scene, including the breaks. Okay, but hold on a minute. Does every single little gap need this big dramatic explanation? The short answer is nope. Not all gaps are created equal. And sometimes, trying to explain a tiny, insignificant break can actually create a problem that wasn't even there to begin with. So let's focus our energy where it actually matters. A good rule of thumb is this. You really only need to worry about a gap if it's pretty recent, if it's longer than, say, 6 to 12 months, and if it's really obvious on your resume. That 2-month break you took 10 years ago, trust me, most hiring managers are never even going to see it.
All right, mindset is locked in. Now let's get tactical. It's time to roll up our sleeves and talk about your practical resume toolkit. Exactly how to present these gaps on paper.
Okay, here is a super simple but incredibly powerful formatting trick. Instead of listing out the month and the year for your jobs, just use the years. See how 2020 to 2021 immediately makes any gap that happened in between feel, less like a gap? You're not lying or hiding anything. You're just shifting the focus away from the calendar and onto what really matters, your experience. But what about those longer gaps? A year, maybe more? This is where the strategy gets really interesting. You're going to reframe it completely. Don't think of it as a gap at all. Instead, you're going to turn that time into its own legitimate experience entry, just like it was any other job.
So check this out. Instead of a big old blank space, you give it a professional title, something like career transition and upskilling. And then, this is the key, you add bullet points showing exactly what you did. Completed the Google Data Analytics Certificate, mastered Excel and SQL, built portfolio projects. See, this tells an employer you were busy, you were productive, and you were building skills relevant to them. You weren't just sitting around.
Okay, so your resume's looking sharp, and it lands you the interview. Awesome. But that brings us to the next crucial stage, actually talking about it. We've got to nail the conversation. You have to be ready to tell your story with total confidence.
And when that question inevitably comes up in the interview, I want you to use this super simple 3-part formula. It's like a recipe. Part 1, a brief reason for the gap. Part 2, what you did during that time. And Part 3, why you're ready to rock and roll now in this specific role.
And here's what that formula looks like in the real world. Just listen to the tone of this. It's confident, it's positive, and it connects everything right back to the job. The reason? After being laid off. What you did? I used the opportunity to retrain. While you're ready now, I'm now focused on roles where I can apply these new skills. Like this one. Boom. It's clean, it's confident, and it tells the whole story in one sentence. And this same exact logic is absolutely critical if you're making a big career pivot. Your job is to connect the dots for the employer, because they won't do it for you. You have to show them how your past experience, say as a teacher, gave you incredible skills in communication and planning, and how that makes you a perfect fit for a project management role. You draw the line for them.
All right, let's bring this all home. It's time for our final section, your action plan. This is where we stop talking and start doing. We're going to turn all this theory into clear, confident steps you can take, like as soon as this is over.
First up, let's talk about what not to do. It is so easy to fall into these traps, going silent, oversharing way too much personal detail, or sounding defensive. Don't do it. The better approach every single time is to be direct, keep it professional, sound confident, and just focus on what you learned. Seriously, how you handle that one question says so much about you.
And here it is, your 5-step employer-ready checklist. It's simple. 1. List out any big gaps. 2. For each one, jot down a few bullet points on what you actually did. 3. Pick a smart resume format. 4. Write out that 3-part story we talked about. And 5, and this is a big one, practice saying it out loud. That practice is what transforms anxiety into pure confidence.
And that really brings us to the final question. And honestly, it's the most important one. Your career path, with all of its zigs and zags and pauses, it's yours. It is not a weakness. It's not a liability. It's proof of your resilience and your growth. So the only question left is, how are you going to tell your story?